is the most magnificent life has ever been. Here is heaven and earth and the brilliant sky in between. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive.
Well, welcome to Tech 101. I'm Eric Hesseldahl, Senior Technology Writer here at Business Week. This week we're going to talk about smartphones. Now, a lot of you have been writing in asking about smartphones. You maybe want to move to a better cell phone. Maybe your contract's expiring. You want to do some email and you haven't done that with your cell phone before. A lot of you have been asking about the iPhone. Who isn't talking about the iPhone these days? So we're going to talk a little bit about those today. Got an iPhone here. Got another smartphone I happen to like, the BlackBerry Pearl, I've been using as well. And we'll talk a little bit about one of them. Let's focus on the iPhone first. Now, the basic benefits of a smartphone, which is the iPhone qualifies as, is really you get to bring your email with you. You've got some multimedia capabilities here. You can bring, in case of the iPhone, you can bring your music with you, your video, everything that you can do with an iPod, music and video and TV shows and even movies, you can bring along with you right here. But one of the main things about that I like is that you can work with your email. The problem is you don't have a keyboard. You have this on-screen keyboard that's a little bit difficult to operate. You'll get keys along the lower part of the screen here that you can see sometimes, but without an actual keyboard, it's a little tricky to type, and you'll find yourself mistyping every now and then. Now, that's an advantage that these guys have. This is the BlackBerry Pearl. This is the latest version on Verizon. It's the Pearl 8130. Now, what I like about this one is you've actually got a real keyboard here, but what's tricky about it is 2 characters per key. And that can be a little tricky, especially given the size. And you have large thumbs like I do, it gets a little tricky. So, but what the BlackBerry does is it does some predictive typing, and in fact the iPhone does its own predictive typing as well. It tries to figure out what word you want to type before you finish it. And if you just let that process go, you'll find yourself not making as many typos as you would expect. But size will be an issue. The other thing that's an issue with the Pearl is the first time you put in someone's name or address, you're going to find the predictive typing just gets in the way, so you may even want to turn it off. Best to stick with just syncing your address book with the BlackBerry. Now, what else can I say about this? Obviously, the screen is smaller than on the iPhone. Doesn't do music quite as well, really not a marquee feature, really not a video feature, but takes great pictures, and in fact, so does the iPhone. Now, if you don't like this keyboard, you might also take a look at this guy. This is the Curve, BlackBerry Curve, another model of BlackBerry. You got the same interface right here with the ball instead of the wheel from the older BlackBerries. All great devices, generally speaking, but you've got a more traditional keyboard here and phone like so. So those are the 3 devices I'm kind of thinking about these days, and this is the one I'm using day to day lately. I really have to have a physical keyboard. I use a lot of email and really don't use a lot of multimedia or music. I have a regular iPod for that, so I really prefer that. This is a great device too. Does all the multimedia, does all the music, all the video that I'd want, but you know, day to day for me, I got to go with this. So you may think differently, but that answers many of your questions, I hope, about smartphones and what's good and worth using these days. Keep the questions coming. The email address here is tech101@businessweek.com. We'll do our best, as always, to answer your questions in plain English. And remember, as I always say, technology should be easy. And when it's not your fault. We'll see you next week.